Let's check in with the developing story with Jenny Horne. She is co-host of Next Gen Investing here on Schwab Network. Now, Eli Lilly just received an FDA approval for its weight loss drug. Good for Eli Lilly, maybe not so good for the snack companies, but give us the details, Jenny.
Right, Renita, we've talked pretty extensively about how this is weighing on all of these various consumer staples, but definitely good news for Eli Lilly today with a nice 4% move to the upside, adding to its almost 10% rally this week, and shares are up over 71% now on the year, which makes it somewhat of an outlier in the overall healthcare space. But this is on the back of news. The FDA, like you said, did approve their blockbuster drug for weight loss, paving the way for even wider use of the treatment in the U.S. Now, the active ingredient in the drug has already been approved for the treatment of type 2 diabetes under the name Mounjaro since May of 2022. But the FDA's new approval does mean adults who have obesity or overweight with at least one weight-related condition can now use the drug. It will be marketed as Zepbound for chronic weight management. Zepbound, they do say, should be available in the U.S. by the end of this year. It will carry a list price of around $1,000, just slightly over, for a month's supply. But before this approval that we got today, many patients had been using the drug off-label for weight loss, adding to the frenzy of demand we've seen for treatments that can help patients shed pounds. Think Weogvy, which is of course Novo Nordisk, as well as Ozempic, which has been all the trend, all of the rage this year. Now, all three drugs have faced some serious supply constraints, as we do have those that are prescribed them versus those that are just paying out of pocket. But these are hefty price tags, and all three of them do market around $900 to $1,000 on a monthly basis, so it is not cheap. So that's what's so interesting about the fact that we've seen this potentially disrupt areas outside of even healthcare, right? Like Walmart's CEO was mentioning this is changing the way consumers are shopping, and we were like, how could this be impacting so many people? But it does come as the fact that we're seeing obesity does affect roughly 650 million adults globally. Roughly, that's 40% of the population of adults in the U.S. So there is definitely a market for it. To me, there's just a lack of affordability, and that's the element to me that has always been a bit confusing. But nonetheless, great news for Eli Lilly, and now it does make them a formidable competitor to, of course, like Wegovy and Ozempic.
I'm stuck on the price. I had no clue that these drugs were that expensive, $1,060 for a month's supply for Zepbound. Right? Are they talking about adding this to those lists of drugs that are able to get, charged less or cost less through Medicare or Medicaid or any other service? I have no clue, but shot in the dark.
So that's what's so interesting is if you are prescribed these drugs, it's not that cost. It's more of if you're, not necessarily authorized for medical reasons,
okay,
you're paying that $1,000 price tag. So that's where the issue becomes, because there's people that are prescribed these drugs for diabetes treatments that's covered by insurance or Medicare or Medicaid, what have you. And that is right now what has been such an issue, because those people prescribed are having a very difficult time getting these drugs because just the mass flooding of interest in the market. I would say it's probably more niche if you're a person that's just choosing electively to take one of these drugs. Paying $1,000, I just can't imagine that's applying to a mass population, but they do say it is shaping the way that they're seeing shopping and eating habits. It's amazing to me. We continue to see this disrupt the space, but we do know it's almost like the healthcare version of AI at this point. Enter the weight loss drug epicenter and you see shares rewarded.
Wow, and I'm seeing it says it helped people lose up to 52 pounds in 16 months. I don't know how healthy that is, but it's happening.
And they say you gain it back. That's what I read, that you gain it back. I guess with anything.
Okay, well, be careful, folks.